Live from the Dunkin Latte Lounge.
All right, welcome to the Dunkin Latte Lounge. My name is Garrett from Elvis Duran and the Z100 Morning Show. The man joining the lounge from the group from Boston originally, Adam Ezra. How are you?
I'm good, Garrett. Thank you so much for having me on today.
No problem. It's for me, like growing up in New York, like going to the Garden and getting to at least attend a show or put on a show at the Garden. It was like that was like my moment. Being from Boston and being up, like seeing Dunkin like literally every 10 feet. It's like to play your music a part of the Dunkin Lounge. That has to also be a pretty like cool moment for you as well.
Oh my God, yeah, you can't throw a stick without hitting a Dunkin' Donuts around here. It's been a part of our life and culture around this place for quite some time, and it's pretty great to be able to be with you today.
So Adam, just like many of us, we've been going through one heck of a year, including yourself, personally, musically. Let's start by talking about something I was reading up on you guys and you yourself, saying that this past year has been different, not just for the obvious reasons, but for the fact it was the most time you got to spend in one place for an extended period of time.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean,
What was it? What was the comparison? What was it used to be versus
Sure. I think like all of us, my life completely changed. Before March 13th of 2020, we would, I would play 230 shows a year on the road. We were on the road all the time, 80,000 miles a year. We would just be playing. We were a live band. That's what we did. And of course, I remember the night. I was supposed to play down. I was supposed to open for Southside Johnny down in Clearwater, Florida. I was so excited because I think the Jukes are, one of my favorite bands in the universe. And I just
a staple at the Jersey Shore.
Oh yeah, and they are just road dogs these days, despite being around for a gajillion years. And they had kind of taken us on the road for the past year. I was so excited to go down to Florida and play with Johnny, and they just declared the pandemic, and I just, it was a heartbreaker. I had to call Johnny and say, look, I just don't feel right coming down and being on the road right now. And of course, one day later, everything.
It'll be a few weeks. Don't worry about it. We'll see you in like 2 weeks. Don't worry.
I remember saying that to fans online that, for the next couple weeks, we're gonna be off the road. And we obviously, none of us had any idea what was gonna unfold. I remember that night though, I went online and not as much to perform a concert, but just to live stream, just to be with the community, just to feel a little less alone and a little less scared. I spent a little time playing some songs and talking to the fans,
and that snowballed into something totally something of it in itself, actually, which we'll talk about in a second. But pre-pandemic, what was the longest time you were home for? 10 hours a day?
Never. My wife and Allie and I, we've been kind of laughing about the fact that through this tragedy we've all been living through, she and I have, for the first time in our lives, actually gotten to live together for an entire year. And and it's funny because I keep coming back to this, and I talk to a lot of people about this. I mean, there are certain blessings that come out of your entire world having to change, right?
Right.
It forces us to look differently, to act differently. And one of the things that has been a joy for me is getting to spend time at home with Allie. We have a tiny little cabin out in the Mojave Desert, and I've just been able to be there and be present and to be outside and to shift to sharing my music with folks online, which has been an inspiring journey.
Did you find that you've become very good at something over the past year? Like for me, I tried to cook and haven't become a cook. My wife's Italian and her name also Allie. She goes, please, thank you for trying, but no, thank you. No, thank you. Have you found that thing that you were like, hey, I've never done this before?
I've tried several things, one of which, Garrett, has been also to cook. We have a little grill out in the desert, and I was saying to my, I remember having these conversations with Dad, like, I'd really love, like guys grill meat, like there's something I want to be able to, I want to make a good steak, and so that's been a project that has been met with more or less success given the specific day. But you know what has totally blown me away is I started landscaping. We have this area outside in the desert, so beautiful, these boulders and these cactuses and these 1,000-year-old desert plants and trees. And every day I would go out and I would just start trimming and shaping this incredible land around me, just clearing away dead stuff. And it was so soul filling in a way that I had
Ezra
never
Group
expected.
Landscaping. I see it now.
I love it.
You show up, you do the lawn, and then you perform.
That's it. And then a little song. Perfect.
Yeah, and then you charge them again to redo the lawn after you ruin it. So, I mean, it's a whole look. This is the beautiful thing about it. New business comes from there. So
you're a thinker, Garrett. You're
exactly.
I respect that.
All right. So you're talking about how you converted your music to going online, just having some fun playing on shows, and then what we all thought, a couple of weeks turned into almost a full year of you performing. So as much as we've talked about getting away from music, you really didn't have a day off from music because you turned it into a 365 type job for yourself.
It was an amazing thing. I started a live stream, and of course, over the next 2 weeks, the whole live stream concert thing exploded around the world, right? But this amazing thing happened for me. I was, at the end of that first night that I live streamed when my tour was canceled, I said, I'll come back tomorrow if you come back tomorrow. And like hundreds of more people came back the next day. And then the same thing happened the next day. And before I knew it, we were reaching thousands of people around the world with.
Gotta love the snowball effect.
It was so, but it was also, and of course, right. I've been on the road for 20 years or something like that. And, I've always wanted to play to big audiences every single night. And so ironic that suddenly I was off the road and we are dealing with this tragedy. And it actually, the amazing thing was it ended up not really being about the performance or stepping on the stage. It became about this space on camera being this place to connect with this community every single night, to just find grounding, to be as honest and as real as I could be on a camera. We've all had terrible days over this last year, and to give myself permission to have a terrible day, but to still go online. We are now well over 365 days. I've live streamed every single day for over a year now, and it has been one of the most inspiring journeys I've ever taken as an artist.
And I'm sure you see that as an artist too. You try to find the silver lining in any type of situation, even from the saddest of songs to the happiest of songs. It's about finding that silver lining of positivity to get that message across. I mean,
totally. I love that you said that. And we talk about this a lot, that we're right now experiencing so much sadness and grief around us, right? That we can't even process it all. We can't process everything that's happened to us over the last year. I don't think that that's possible. I think it's going to be something we're dealing with for a long time. But just to be, and this is why music and art inspires me so much, just to be able to sharing that sadness, sharing that grief, sharing the range of emotions, it helps to remind me that I'm not alone in the things that I'm feeling. And that is what's kept me going through the hardest chapters during the pandemic.
Now, you were saying that you live out in the desert and, several places and mostly
Yeah.
hotels pre-pandemic. But for me, like right now, I'm sitting at my kitchen table. It's
Yeah.
also now have turned into the place where I get to talk to people like you and talk to millions of people on the radio every morning.
Yeah.
What was your common thing in your house that then turned into your studio / writing area? Like, do you have that room that now functions as a multi-purpose thing in your
Oh
house?
yeah. I mean, I've had a couple stable locations, one in Boston, where I had a friend give me this old banged up baby grand piano. And
Oh,
I just kind of set up this little camera area. And you know what? Before this started, I didn't know how to live stream. I didn't know how to work cameras and lights and microphones.
What was Zoom?
It was right. It was.
Let's hop in the DeLorean and 1 year put all our money into Zoom in the stocks and also Bitcoin too, apparently.
I know.
And
Yeah.
and then we can retire.
For sure, right? And it has been so yeah. Clearly, Boston has turned, and Allie and I live in this big open space in Boston. So really, she's been wonderful because my studio space there's been mission creep, obviously, over the last year, right? But out in the desert, in front of our cabin is so tiny, I couldn't fit anything in there. So I actually, because there's no rain, I had this outdoor studio where I would go every single day, and which is so interesting because so exposed to the elements. If it was a cold day, and we're up in the high desert out there. So it's at 5,000 feet. So you get snow, you get rain, you get all sorts of crazy things, which certainly made for a night to night event.
Hey, can I record tonight? I don't think so.
Yeah, right. It was, and of course it was like, nope, can't break the streak. No matter what's happening, it goes on camera. And that's been part of the adventure.
And so over the past year, I mean, we're talking about music, we're talking about traveling. You just recently said, we're gonna, put our pinky toes back into the touring pool and get back out there, right?
Yeah. We actually, it was last July. Garrett, and if you haven't experienced this community around our music, it is made up of the most inspiring people from now after this year from all over the world. But come last July, we were saying to ourselves, you know what? I believe in this community, and I believe that there are ways to share live music again and not put each other's lives at risk. It is going to take a monumental effort, but we're going to do it. And what we did was we started this thing called the Live Gathering series, right? Every night our live stream is called The Gatherings. And we decided to take the gatherings on the road in the middle of the pandemic. And what we did is we went out to our fan base, and we had people apply from all over, and we had to abide by travel restrictions and stuff like that. But those kept shifting, if you remember, and they continue to keep shifting.
Rules change, and it's about a matter of knowing how to pivot. Some know how to pivot brilliantly, others kind of just they drowned.
That was it, and we couldn't plan anything over 2 weeks in advance. But what we did was we set up this kind of guerrilla pop-up concert series hosted by fans. We have this army of volunteers that would go into these outdoor spaces and like spray paint socially distanced pods. We would only sell enough tickets and reserve enough spaces so that everybody could be socially. We ended up doing almost 50 shows last summer without one case of COVID. And it was just such an inspiring thing, such a validation for me in my belief that small communities, when we come together with purpose, can accomplish so many great things. So we're actually on the cusp of going back out on the road and doing a whole stream of new live concerts, live gatherings that will partner with the live streams.
So much better than, I don't know if you remember, like at the beginning when the live concerts shut down and the question was, how are we going to get back to live music? And the ideas of bubbles and the ideas of wearing spacesuits. I can't go to I couldn't even imagine how to drink a beer at a show wearing a spacesuit.
Yeah, no, it was, and I think, I think one of the ways that we were able to make it work is that it's so small scale.
It's
right?
intimate. It's intimate.
50 people, 100 people, but spaced out, and everybody coming with this like mind that we have these like kind of socially distanced guidelines. Everyone's going to wear masks when they're not in their little pods. Everyone's going to look out for each other. And when you're doing things that are hyper connected to your audience, when it's small scale like that, you can really accomplish some amazing things. And once you get to bigger size audiences, it's really hard to control the way people are going to behave.
There's always one in the group, right? But for the most part, there's and we all know, we all have that one friend that was like, whatever. But I'm glad you're on the forefront of doing something that people didn't realize how much they needed in their life of live music. It just hits differently. We get to, you're going to play for us in a second, and it's going to be amazing. But seeing it live, inches away and just hitting that feeling, it's different. Getting those goosebumps on your arm, when you hit that note or hit a chord or the beginning start of a song.
Yeah, it's people. There's a release that happens at these shows. I mean, people crying, getting choked up, us getting choked up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been such an honor for me.
I'm sure
to do this.
Yeah, I'm sure this past year has done one thing, if anything, aside from thinking about reinventing music, is it brought back your love for music.
Oh, well, the love was never gone, but I'll tell you what, I never imagined. If you had told me a year ago that I would get fulfillment out of playing a concert to a computer screen, I would have laughed in your face, because it wasn't my art form. Connecting with people is my art form. But like so many of us, I've learned to adapt over this year, and I have found that we can actually create deep and meaningful connection through an online medium. But you know what? One thing that everybody understands these days is that there is so much that is out of our control.
Right? Of course. So
much. And God, what a healthy thing to have some perspective on, right? Whether it's been our live stream concerts or it's been the live concerts. I mean, if it rains, concert get canceled and we refund everybody's tickets, and that's okay. It's
right.
You
gotta roll with the punches. You've learned. I have, at least, and I'm sure you have as well, Adam, learned to just roll with it. And you just fix it as you go. That's pretty much.
There was one night, Allie and I were driving out to California. We were staying in a hotel, and I was gathering from the hotel, and they had Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi went out in the middle of the gathering, right? And and this was a while ago. This might have been gathering 150, 200, something like that, right? But there's no way that I'm going to let this get the best of me, right? So
of course.
So the next
life lesson, the
next point the gatherers saw me at, I am driving the car and live streaming as I'm trying to find a spot to pull over so that I can play songs for the fans on the side of the road and continue the gathering. And man, that is a night that I remember, and all our fan community remembers so fondly.
Yep.
The adventures, the unplanned things, the examples of when we overcome adversity, those create amazing, one-of-a-kind, once-in-a-lifetime moments. And
the future Netflix documentary we will be watching within the next year.
Love it.
All right, so I'm going to step away,
Sure.
turn off my camera and let you take over musically, because I tried at the beginning of pandemic to learn guitar. I got a bass guitar, beautiful Gibson bass guitar.
Oh, nice.
here's the thing, and I'm going to show how much of a rookie I am. I got a bass guitar, right? What goes with a bass, right? What's the the second thing to go with a bass?
Oh, you didn't have an amplifier, did you?
No, I didn't have an amp. I learned you needed an amp. That's what you get for buying things without researching everything. But I have an amp now, and very early stages. But
we've all made some hasty pandemic purchases.
Yeah,
I feel you, man.
Yeah, I forgot to put amp in the cart on the way out the door. So, all right. So, Adam, before we go, socials across the board. That if you're not following along, you can follow along now and become a part of this community we've been talking about now for this past interview, and just let everyone know about it.
Sure. You all watching. First of all, thank you so much for watching. For most of my career, fancy venues like the Latte Lounge, they didn't see us in the darkness. We've been so underground, and I'm so honored at the chance to get to connect to you all out there, and I'm so grateful that you took a little bit of time to listen to my story. If you want to find out more about us, you can find me on adamezra.com. I know my last name is a weird one, so I'm going to spell it for you. EZRA. adamezra.com, and from there you can find out all about our gathering series and our pop-up concerts and the nonprofit work we're doing. Every night at 7 p.m. Eastern, we live stream. The gathering goes live on our Facebook page. Search for Adam Ezra Group, and you can search for Adam Ezra Group on Instagram. All of our new music, some of which you're about to hear me play acoustic, but all of our new music is up on Spotify if you look for Adam Ezra Group, or anywhere else you can stream music. And of course, we have 1 million videos on YouTube if you search for Adam Ezra Group there as well.
And iHeartRadio.
Yes, and iHeartRadio.
I get to keep my job.
I love it, man.
Yes.
I love it.
Adam, thank you so much. All right. And if you want to see more interviews just like this, check out DunkinLatteLounge.com. Adam, pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much. I seriously, it feels like we've been, just talking for 10 minutes, and it literally is, almost 30 now. And by the time it gets cut down, it's going to feel like 10, but thank you.
Garrett,
I appreciate it.
It's been an honor to hang with you a little bit. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
All right. Adam Ezra, take it away.
Rising up, yesterday will fall, and we are together now in the midst of it all, and we'll be alright today, and we'll be alright today. I cannot let this moment pass without calling out to the moon and the stars about how lucky I believe we are, and we'll be alright today, and we'll be alright today. All our dreams and limitations, all our failures and celebrations, together we'll rise, together we'll rise and fall. All our doubt and inspiration, all our darkness and elation, together we'll rise, together we'll rise together, yeah. And rise, we fall, stand together through it all, and we'll be alright today. And we'll be alright today. We'll be alright today. We'll be alright today. Got this chain around my ankle. It's keeping me in a company of thieves. And I can be a proud man in the mirror, but I won't be till I leave. This weight upon my shoulders, heavier now as the day is long, and it won't take a wise mind to know that I've got to move along. Every ounce I give, I don't care what you promise to keep me hanging on, girl. I'm gone. I've got this rope tied around me. I let you tie me up, take control. You held my body for so long. Now it's time to free my soul. Inside your prison, being like your slave, wasting time, my only crime is every ounce I give. I don't care what you promise to keep me hanging on, girl. In your head, I'll be the enemy. In your bed, I'll be your memory. Yeah, I'm gone, gone, gone. I've been locked inside your prison, yeah, being like your slave, wasting time. My only crime was every ounce I give. I don't care what you promise to keep me hanging on, girl. I'm gone. Sitting here most of the night, sipping his beer, feeling alright with my old buddies lined up at the bar. Jukebox playing soft and low, about to pay my tab, hit the road, and just my luck, someone played that song. Now I'm switching to whiskey before the moon gets me. Fill it to the top, let it burn me all the way down. I'm gonna drown my sorrow, sober up tomorrow. Tonight I fly so high I can't be found. Till I don't care, she don't even miss me. I'm switching whiskey. See her now, plain as day. The night she took my breath away, dancing like a carousel on fire. Through the barroom smoke, the blue eyes shining, holding her like she was mine. And beer ain't strong enough to ease my mind. Now I'm switching whiskey before the moon gets me. Fill it to the top, let it burn me all the way down. I'm gonna drown my sorrow, sober up tomorrow. Tonight I fly so high I can't be found. I'm gonna lean on Jack, shot for shot. Match these tears drop for drop. I need something strong to wash the pain away. I'm switching to whiskey. I'm switching to whiskey. I'm gonna drown my sorrow. I fly so high I can't be found. I don't care if she don't even miss me. I'm switching whiskey.
Live from the Dunkin Latte Lounge,